Hi students, now we discuss about catchy memory. So in previous videos also we discussed about catchy memory. In general, a processor would send a request to catchy memory. Sorry, generally whatever the data requires a processor send a request to the main memory. Okay, but in some time the program contains repeated actions. So each and every time we are send a request to main memory, okay, and getting acknowledgement, and then after then getting required information, it takes lot of time. So in order to reduce those time, whatever the repeated actions are there, that is going to be stored in a cache memory. Okay, so let us discuss in detail about the what is the definition of the cache memory. So see here, analysis of a large number of typical programs has shown that most of their execution time is spent on a few main rows in which a number of instructions are executed repeatedly. Means for repeatedly executed instructions, the time taken, we are spending lot of time. So these instructions may constitute a simple loop, nested loop, or few procedures that repeatedly call each other. The main observation is that many instructions in a few localized or as of the program are repeatedly executed, and that remainder of the program is accessed relatively infrequently. So this phenomena is referred to as locality of reference. Means, so accessing the data, accessing the required information in the cache memory, first of all we have to localize that instruction. So that is called a locality of reference. Okay, so coming to, many instructions in the localized areas of a program are executed repeatedly during some time period. The remainder of the program is accessed relatively infrequently. So generally we have two types, that is temporal and spatial. So whatever the recently executed instructions are executed very soon. Okay, next another one is spatial. Instructions in close to proximity to recently executed instruction, that is which is nearer to the recently executed instructions, are also likely to be executed soon. Okay, if active segment of a program is placed in cache memory, then total execution time can be reduced. So whatever the repeated actions we have to store in cache memory, eh, because of that the total execution time can be reduced. Okay, block refers to the set of contiguous address locations of some size. Means a block contains a continuous address locations, okay, for repeated actions. So cache line is used to refer to the cache block. So for getting information, the cache block use that continuous address locations. Okay, see the diagram. So generally a processor send a request to the cache memory for for a required data. So if it is not there in this cache memory, and this cache sends a request to the main memory. Okay, so cache memory stores a reasonable number of blocks at a given time. So this number of blocks is small compared to the total number of blocks available in the memory. So when compared to main memory, cache memory storage capacity is less. Okay, but very fast when compared to main memory. Like correspondence between main memory block and cache block is referred to is specified by memory function. So memory function is nothing but, so transferring the instruction from main memory to cache memory called as a mapping function. Okay, so cache control hardware decides which block should be removed to create a space for a new block. So uh, uh, this cache memory is small memory, that's why uh, it becomes very high. Means the cache memory storage capacity is less, then we need to remove. Okay, so with the help of replacement algorithms, which instruction we are going to be deleted. Okay, means the cache memory becomes full. Okay, then it raises a problem to store another instruction. Okay, so in that situation, compulsory we have to delete some instructions in the cache memory. So which instructions we are going to be deleted, that is specified by using a replacement algorithm. So the collection of rules for making this decision is called the replacement algorithms. Okay, so the cache control circuit determines whether the request word currently exists in the cache. Okay, coming to the mapping function. So um, each and every time we are going to be search in cache. If cache does not contain that required information, then the cache sends a request to the main memory. Okay, so generally we have three types of mapping functions, that is direct mapping, associative mapping, set associative mapping. So discuss clearly. So generally the main memory contains like that. Okay, so the block 0, block 1, block 2, and this cache memory contains tags. Okay, so see here, block J of the main memory maps onto block J modulo 128 of the cache. When the memory blocks 0, 128 and 226 are loaded into the cache, the block is stored in the cache block 0. Means whatever the block 0 data in the main memory, the same data is stored in the block 0 cache memory block 0. Okay, similarly memory blocks 1 comma 129 comma means what they are saying means in direct memory, whatever the block 0 instruction, block 0 address contains, that all data is going to be stored in cache block zeros. Okay, so in cache also contains block 0, block 1. So whatever the data here also, that is going to be stored in block 0. In similar manner, block 1 contains whatever the data this block 1 contains, that is stored in block 1 also. Okay, so the contention may rise when, so some problems rises when means when the cache is full. So if cache is full, then problem occurs. Okay, when more than one memory block is mapped onto a given cache block position. So more than one, so here contains block 0, block 0. So more than blocks we are going to be stored in block 0, then it is also a one problem. So the contention is resolved by allowing the new blocks to override the currently resident block. Means here we are applying the override. Okay, the memory address determines the placement of block in the cache. Okay, so this is the tag, and this is the block number, and this is the word. So the memory address is divided into three fields: low order 4-bit field, 7-bit cache block field, 5-bit tag field. Okay, select one of 6 words in a block. Okay, means low order 4-bit means contains. Okay, the 7-bit cache block field contains 7 bits determine the cache position in which a new block must be stored, and 5-bit tag field, so this is the tag field. So 5-bit memory address of the block is stored in 5 tag bits associated with the cache location. So as the execution proceeds, the 5-bit tag field of a memory address is compared to the tag bits associated the cache location. Okay, so first after execution proceeds, okay, first the 5-bit field of the memory address is compared with the tag bits associated with the cache location. So if they match, okay, so whatever the main memory contains a 5-bit field, in the same manner is compared with the tag bits associated with the cache location. If they match, then the desired word is in that block of the cache. Okay, if the tag field is if the tag field matches, then the desired word contains in that block of cache. Otherwise, the block containing required word must be first read from the memory, and then the word must be loaded into the cache. Okay, first first processor checks this 5-bit tag field contains cache location in the cache memory or not. Okay, if they contain, then the desired word is in that block of the cache. Okay, if the both tag fields are matched. Okay, otherwise the block the otherwise this cache memory uh, fetch that word from main memory. So this is called a mapping. Okay, uh, here mapping is directly taken that word from main memory. So this is the direct mapping. Okay, so coming to the associative mapping. So associative mapping means the memory blocks can be replaced in any catch block position. Okay, so any catch block position. So 12 tag bits will identify a memory block when it is resolved in the cache, and tag bits of an address received from the processor are compared to the tag bits of the each block of cache. This comparison is done to see if the desired block is present or not. It gives a complete freedom in choosing of a cache location. So in previous, there is no freedom for choosing a cache location. So whatever the block 0 in main memory contains, that all data is going to be showed in cache block 0 field. Okay, but here it gives a complete freedom, okay, for choosing a cache location. And next one is a new block that has to be brought into the cache has to be replaced an existing block if the cache is full. So if the cache is full, then we need to remove. Okay, so a new block that has to be brought into the cache in order to replace the existing block. So when this situation rises means when the cache is full. Okay, the memory has to determine whether a given block is in the cache or not. Okay, next, the advantage of this is it gives more flexible than direct mapping technique. So, and disadvantage is its cost is very high. Okay, next, coming to set associative. So it is a combination of direct and associative mapping. So the blocks of the cache is grouped in sets. So see here. Okay, and the mapping allows a block of main memory to reside in any blocks of the specified set. Okay, then the means this is the associative mapping. So the mapping allows a block of memory to reside any block. Okay, so that is the advantage of associative memory. So this is the combination of direct and associative memory, like. Okay, so the cache has two blocks per set, so that memory blocks contain 0, 64, 128 and so on 4032 maps into a cache set 0. Okay, this cache can occupy either of the two block position within the set. So that is 6-bit set field, 6-bit tag field. Okay, so the cache which contains one block per set is called a direct mapping. Okay, a cache that has k blocks per set is called contain k-way set associative cache. Okay, each block contains a control bit called a valid bit. So if the valid bit is 0 when the power is initially applied to the system, if the valid bit is 1, when the block is loaded from the main memory at first time. Okay, so main advantage of each contention problem of direct mapping is resolved by having a few choices of block replacement, and the hardware cost is decreased by reducing the size of associative search. Okay, here when compared to associative, in set associative, searching becomes less. Okay, so that's why here the cost is going to be reduced. Okay, coming to replacement algorithm. So replacement, why we go for replacement algorithm means if the cache is full, okay, then we need to delete some instructions. So which instruction we are going to be deleted? So see here, in direct mapping method, the position of the each block is predetermined and there is no need to replacement strategy. Means in direct mapping, already it is defined, okay, that's why there is no need to replacement. Means there is no chance to add a new block, okay. In associative and set associative method, the block position is not determined, okay, then that means it is free choosing a block position, okay. If the cache is full and if new blocks are brought into the cache, then the cache controller must decide which of the old blocks has to be replaced. Means with the help of least recently when the block is overwritten, the block with the longest time being referenced in overwritten. Means in set associative and associative method, if the cache becomes full, then it automatically adds a new blocks. Then the cache controller decides which old blocks are going to be replaced, okay. So with the help of least recently used block, and that technique is called as a LRU algorithm. So with the help of this LRU algorithm, the cache controller must decide which of the old blocks has to be replaced, okay. So the cache controller tracks the reference to all blocks with the help of block counter. So with the help of block counter, the cache controller tracks all blocks references, okay. Then it is going to be decide which of the old blocks has to be replaced in order to add the new blocks. So this all situation occurs when if the cache becomes full, okay. So advantage of this performance of LRU is improved by randomness is deciding. Means if you choose a randomly, sometimes the problem rises. So better we have to use LRU algorithm, okay, in deciding which block is to be overwritten, okay. So hit ratio and miss penalty. So hit miss means whatever the required data exists, whatever the required data that processor wants, that is going to be there in cache, that is called as a hit. If that required data is not there in cache, that is called miss, okay. So see here, the number of hits started as a fraction of all attempted access is called a hit rate. Hit rate is means uh, whatever the data that processor wants, that data is accessed from cache is called a hit rate, okay, that rate is called. So the extra time needed to bring the desired location into the cache. Means if the data is not there in cache, it takes some times to get that required data from main memory. That time, that extra time is called as a miss penalty, okay. So high hit rate well over 0.9 are essential for high performance computers, okay. Performance is adversely affected by the action that need to be taken when the miss occurs. So performance sometimes reduces if the miss penalty rate is high, okay. So a performance penalty is incurred because of the extra time needed to bring a block of data from slower unit to faster unit. Means main memory is a slower unit and the cache memory is a faster unit. So compulsory it takes extra time for transferring the data from slower unit to faster unit, okay. So during that period, the processor is stalled waiting for instruction of data. Means the processor waits until the required data getting, okay. We refer to the total access time seen by the processor when a miss occurs as the miss penalty. Let h be the hit rate and M is the miss penalty, and C is the time to access the information in the cache. Then the average access time is experienced with the help of this formula, that is TAVG is equal to HC plus 1 minus H into M. Okay, here H is the hit rate, M is the miss penalty, and C is the time to access the information. Okay, so with the help of this formula, we have to identify the we have to calculate the average access time experienced by the processor, okay, for getting the required information if it is not there in cache. Okay, so this is the cache memory. I hope all students are able to understand. Okay, thank you.